Welcome to Journey of Faith, Homeschooler to Business Owner, episode number 9. I'm your host, Renee Berry. Here are some of the myths that I heard regarding homeschooling. Myth number 1, homeschoolers are bright, A-plus students and honor roll students. You would think this would be the case with one-on-one help being homeschooled, but it's just not true for all homeschoolers. With me having 2 boys to homeschool, that teacher to student ratio was amazing compared to the ratio of students to teacher in the public schools. Why would they not be A-plus students? Well, because it depends on the habits and performance of each individual student. Like I mentioned in podcast episode number 8, my oldest son struggled with reading and math, and in turn struggled with a lack of focus, attention to detail, and just became unmotivated. He needed lots of support in bringing his grades up in these subjects, but managed to pass these subjects and graduate. My youngest did well in school, but did not prioritize studying as well as he could have. No doubt he could have been an A-plus student across the board, but no one can make you become that. You have to put forth the effort on your own. But no, neither one of them were straight A students. So I say that to say, just because you are homeschooled, that does not automatically make you an A-plus student. It takes work on your part. Myth number 2. Most homeschool teachers allow their kids to roll out of bed and work all day in their pajamas, doing school when they want and how they want to do it. None of the homeschoolers that I knew had this going on in their homeschool. If that works for your homeschool, go for it. If you have been listening to this podcast from episode number 1, you are aware that I'm for order and structure. I had structure when I worked outside the home, and I was definitely going to have it working from home as a homeschool teacher. I got up first and got fully dressed from top to bottom, shoes included, Monday through Friday. My boys did the same. They got in this habit early. There were no pajamas all day in our homeschool. When you operate like that, to me, you are not ready for the day. You have that weekend mentality. I wanted my boys to know this was important. You get up and you show up with the right attitude and focus for the day. Myth number 3. Homeschoolers know exactly what they want to become and do in life. I'm sure some homeschoolers knew what they wanted to become and to do in life. One of my homeschool friend's daughter knew she wanted to become a marine biologist, and sure enough, as a little girl all the way up to college, that is what she set out to do. Well, unfortunately, all homeschoolers are not this way. My youngest son, Jordan, wanted to create comics and draw for a living. Well, he did that throughout his school years, and he is doing that as a hobby now. He works full-time doing something completely different, but he enjoys doing this on the side. My oldest is working full-time and enjoys what he does, but it was not his lifelong dream job. It's a job, and he does it well, so that is what he is doing for now. He also loved drums, and I'm sure he would have loved to do that for a living, but he is fine doing it at church and as a hobby for now. Myth number 4. Homeschool teachers must have a degree in teaching before they homeschool their children. I am so glad this is not the case. Does it help? Absolutely. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. As you know from listening to this podcast from episode number 1, God qualified me for this calling, and I don't take that lightly. Everything I learned it from Him, leading me in the areas I needed to know to help teach my children. And no, I didn't teach it all. I taught most of it, but I'm not a great math person. I don't know other languages besides English, and there's only so many science projects I could teach. My boys needed more help than I could give them. That's the beauty of homeschool co-ops. You don't have to teach it all. I love the fact that I was able to incorporate the Word of God throughout their homeschool experience. That is the most important thing I taught my children. Myth number 5. Homeschool students will not know how to talk and relate to adults and others. Boy, is this incorrect. Just because kids go to public school, that doesn't mean they know how to talk and relate to adults and other kids just because they're in a classroom all day. My boys were in class with me, and they also went to co-op classes, but inside and outside the classroom, they had opportunities to talk with adults all the time and other kids, especially those adults wondering why they were not in school at the time. We got a lot of that throughout the years. And another thing I wanted to say was, even if you do have the opportunity to be in class with teachers or in class with students, you still have to make the effort to talk, to communicate, to be one who is free enough to feel like you can talk to people, not shy. And, there are lots of shy students, and because of that, they tend to not talk to other students or teachers. So it's not just homeschool students. Any student has to make the effort to communicate. I love the boldness of my youngest son. He has never felt like being anyone else but himself. He has never tried to be a follower. He has never tried to be someone's friend when he sensed they wanted something from him other than being his friend. I remember one time at a homeschool picnic, a group of boys that never gave him the time of day asked if they could ride his ripstick. This was a popular toy back at that time, and he politely said no and kept on riding it past them. He knew they were not his friends and was not interested in being his friend. They just wanted something from him, and he was wise enough to know that at a young age. That is what homeschooling will help you with if you are willing to learn that lesson. These are just some of the myths that I heard being a homeschool mom. I'm sure there are more, but I just wanted to speak about these. Homeschooling is a great privilege that was afforded to our children. I'm thankful that we had the freedom to do so in our nation. It's not for everybody, but I'm so glad I had the opportunity to do it from K through 12th grade. What a blessing. It's not the only way, but it has worked for our family. Thanks for taking the time once again to listen to Journey of Faith, Homeschooler to Business Owner. I look forward to you coming back for the next episode.